James Cooper never expected his quiet morning at Eagle's Rest Farmers Market to expose one of the largest weapons trafficking rings in American history. When 5 members of the Storm Riders motorcycle gang decided to harass the overweight farmer, they had no idea they were messing with one of the military's most lethal combat specialists. For 8 years, James hid his Delta Force training behind the facade of a simple farmer. The weight he'd gained was real, a symbol of years of quiet living. But beneath the overalls and friendly smile was a man who had led some of the most dangerous operations in modern warfare. That morning, Lance "Python" Kingston and his Storm Riders thought they'd found an easy mark. Instead, they triggered a chain of events that would dismantle a criminal empire stretching from Montana to Mexico. James unloaded his produce with military precision, his 300 pounds moving with quiet control. Locals knew him only as the friendly farmer who'd returned home after some vague government job. His mind tracked everything: vendor positions, exit routes, angles of approach. When his secure flip phone buzzed with a brief message, "Package moving 48 hours," he deleted it without expression. At 8:47 a.m. came the rumble of Harleys. 5 bikes, modified exhausts. The Storm Riders were early. Ruth Whitaker, 70 and sharp, tensed. Oh dear, those horrible men again. Maybe just passing through, James said, though he knew better. Their aggression had been growing. The gang rolled in tight formation. Python led, his leather cut displaying their colors. Sledge, Reaper, Goliath, and 2 prospects followed, parking to block the market entrance. Python dismounted with swagger, a new bulge under his cut. A gun. "Well, well," he called. "Local yokels having a vegetable party?" James kept arranging produce, his movements steady. "Morning, gentlemen, looking for fresh vegetables?" Laughter. Python approached, limping slightly. A new injury. "Actually, fat man, we're looking for our cut. Market's our territory. Time to pay respects." "Ruth," James said gently, "maybe help Mrs. Chen with her flowers." She left reluctantly. Python grinned. "Smart move getting the old lady clear. Wouldn't want her seeing what happens to farmers who don't understand how things work." "Things work fine here," James replied. "Always have." Sledge squeezed a tomato until it burst. "Things change, old man." James watched the juice drip onto his display. 8 years of cover meant control, but today felt different. Something bigger was coming. "Those are $3 each," he said calmly. Python laughed. "Maybe we need to teach you some economics." James could smell whiskey and amphetamines. Unpredictable, dangerous. "Next few minutes are real important, son," he said quietly. "Think carefully about your next move." Before Python could answer, Reaper's voice cut in. "Boss, we got company." Chief Anderson's patrol car appeared, right on schedule. Python snarled, "This isn't over, fat man. Market's gonna learn some hard lessons." As the bikes roared away, James cleaned the smashed tomato. Ruth hurried back. "Oh, James, are you all right?" "Fine," he assured her. "Some folks just need to feel big by making others small." His mind raced. Their new behavior confirmed his intel. Something major was coming. His phone buzzed again. "Meeting at Jenny's, 1 hour." He deleted it and kept smiling. The Storm Riders thought they'd won. They'd just triggered the next phase of an operation 8 years in the making. Jenny's Cafe looked ordinary on Main Street, but it was the nerve center of a covert operation. James parked behind it, noting 3 unfamiliar vehicles with poorly disguised antennae. Government plates. Inside, Jenny Parker looked up. "Your usual, James?" "Quiet morning," he said. "Just the regular." Chief Anderson entered 5 minutes later. "Trouble at the market?" "Nothing serious. Boys trying to look tough." "Boys carrying guns?" Anderson replied. "Python's never done that." "Times are changing." David Martinez, their FBI handler, joined them. "Python's getting bolder." Satellite shows changes at their compound. New security, expanded areas. They're building a distribution hub, James said, studying the images. We've got 2, maybe 3 days before the shipment arrives. Jenny topped off coffee. They're recruiting too. Ex-military guys. It's different this time. Professionalizing, James murmured. Whoever's backing them is turning a gang into an organization. Martinez leaned in. We need the whole operation, gang, weapons, and proof of their backer. You won't get local deputies for this, Anderson warned. They're outgunned. They won't need to fight, James said. Just secure the town when it starts. The storm riders will escalate soon. That's what I'd do. Control the town, eliminate resistance, secure supply lines. Martinez nodded. So how do we force their hand? They expect me to run, James said. When I don't, they'll come for me, and their backer will demand results. Jenny frowned. They'll come for you personally. I'm counting on it, James said. Best way to flush out a hidden enemy is to look like easy prey. That night, James checked his farm perimeter like any rancher, but each motion was part of a plan. Hidden cameras, sealed walls, a command center behind false panels. At 9:12 p.m., his monitors lit up, SUVs and bikes surrounding his land. Jenny called. They plan to burn your barn, extra muscle from the North Chapter, 8 men minimum. Appreciate the heads up, he said. Stay clear tonight. Thermal feeds showed 8 signatures moving with military precision. He unlocked his gear cabinet. The Delta Force reflex returned instantly. By 9:45, bikes circled his property. Engines roared. Taunts cut through the night. He moved through the hidden exit and took position. Burn it down, Python shouted. Teach the fat man respect. They split into 3 teams. House, barn, perimeter. Tactical, disciplined. Professional training was obvious. At 10 p.m. sharp, they breached his front door. House clear, one reported. Got security cams everywhere. Grab the recordings, then burn it, Python ordered. James slipped behind their SUV, opened the door, and pulled Python into a chokehold before he could react. Evening, son. Tell your boys to stand down. Python struggled. You're just a farmer. Actually, James whispered, I've been investigating your weapons pipeline for 8 years. Gunfire cracked from the barn. Boss, you need to see this. This place is an intel center, Sledge's voice echoed over radio. James sighed. Guess we do this the hard way. He rendered Python unconscious, then keyed his secure channel. They took the bait. Phase 2. Within minutes, the farm erupted. James moved like a shadow, each motion calculated, each strike measured. The gang's training worked against them. They expected order, not a predator who thrived in chaos. One by one they fell, some fleeing into the darkness to spread the story of the farmer who wasn't a farmer. By the time sirens arrived, the scene was perfect. Enough evidence for investigation, enough survivors to spread fear. Phase 2 was complete. Dawn broke over Eagle's Rest as local and state police processed the scene. James sat on his porch playing the role of a shaken farmer. Python had already been taken into federal custody under the guise of having fled. 4 gang members were handcuffed in police cars, while forensics documented every sign of self-defense. Nothing would suggest special ops training. Martinez brought coffee. 3 escaped, exactly like you planned. Good, James said. They need to spread the story. Python's talking. He confirmed our suspicions about their backer, encrypted orders, military-grade protocols. Chief Anderson joined them. Reporters are here. I'll handle it, James replied, adopting a tremor in his voice. He told the press the official story, a farmer defending his home. By noon, the town saw him as a folk hero. That sympathy would protect him better than any weapon. Later, Martinez returned. The compound's buzzing, vehicles, new faces. Then their backer is spooked, James said. They think they're dealing with luck. Let's keep it that way. That night he watched surveillance feeds. The storm riders were scrambling, but men in tactical gear had arrived. Professionals. Jenny called, "They're bringing ex-military contractors." "Expected," James replied. "They won't kill me yet. Their boss will want answers." Next morning he set up at the market as usual. Hidden cameras caught multiple surveillance teams. "They're testing me," he murmured into his collar mic. "They'll move tonight." By midnight, 12 heat signatures appeared on his sensors. Former special ops by their movement. They jammed signals and cut power. James waited until the first team breached. Empty bed, confusion. He moved behind them like a ghost. One by one, they fell to non-lethal takedowns. In 4 minutes, the operation was over. "Martinez, move in," he radioed. "Collect our guests." At dawn, the captured operators were gone to federal custody. Their equipment told the story. Classified tech, ex-military contractors. "Someone with serious resources," Martinez said. "They'll send their own people next time," James answered. "And that's when we'll see who's behind this." The following day, the town buzzed with rumors of nighttime gunfire and unmarked trucks. Jenny's cafe was full. "Rough night?" she asked. "Couldn't sleep," he said loudly enough for listening ears. Through his hidden feed, he tracked calls leaving the cafe, straight to Storm Rider's contacts. Martinez slid into the booth. "Ex-military again, shell companies, no direct ties, but gear we shouldn't see outside the Pentagon." A black sedan rolled past for the third time. "They're watching," James muttered. "They learned from last night." His phone buzzed. "Major activity at compound, high-level arrival." Ruth burst into the cafe. "James Cooper, you should have called someone. Lights and helicopters at your farm." He pretended uneasy amusement. "Just trespassers, maybe." Every customer listened. Perfect. Satellite images soon confirmed it. A private jet landing nearby. Their mysterious sponsor had arrived. General Roberts, retired Special Operations Commander. James kept his routine, watching new security patterns form. Roberts was military to the core, and predictable. By evening, Martinez said, "He's prepping for action. Heavy equipment, multiple teams." "Good," James answered. "Let's see how he handles asymmetry." At 8:47 p.m., Roberts made his move. Every phone in town buzzed. "Remain indoors. Federal operation in progress." Clever. Establish psychological control. 20 operators advanced on James's farm, weapons visible. "Exit the house now," a voice boomed. James triggered counter-signals that distorted their radios just enough to confuse. They breached at 9:30 p.m. with textbook precision and walked straight into his trap. Smoke bombs from vents, flashing lights, scrambled night vision. To them, it looked like panic. In truth, James moved within the chaos like water. Operators fell one after another, each lucky hit carefully planned. Command, something's wrong. He's engaging multiple teams. Static. At the compound, Roberts watched his display turn red. "Pull them out," he snapped. But their vehicles failed, communications collapsed, and by the time retreat was authorized, 13 men were down. "Extraction," James told Martinez calmly. As before, no federal footprints. Roberts's face on the remote feed was pure fury. "He'll change tactics now," Martinez said. "That's what we want," James replied. "The more he adapts, the more he reveals." Morning brought a different kind of occupation. Gone were armored vehicles, in their place unmarked sedans and men in suits. Corporate surveillance, Roberts's new approach. "They're running background checks," Martinez reported. "Interviewing locals." "Let them," James said. "Every record is bait." Through the window he watched agents talk to Ruth Whitaker. Her talent for gossip would cement his cover. Jenny approached their table. "They're asking questions at the bank. Claim to be federal regulators." "Roberts is good," James whispered. "Uses the law as a weapon." 2 more operatives entered the cafe, pretending to read menus while photographing license plates outside. "They're checking your finances," Martinez warned. They'll find the small discrepancies you left for them. They'll see exactly what I want, an honest farmer with odd bookkeeping. By noon, a woman in a perfect suit arrived at Town Hall. Catherine Wells, former military intelligence. Her mission, unmask undercover operatives. Your cover's under audit, Martinez said through the earpiece. She's thorough. That afternoon, Roberts deployed economic pressure. Bank accounts flagged, inspectors at his farm, permits suspended. He's testing for panic, James told Martinez. Let him. By nightfall, he reviewed footage of the day. Investigators, spreadsheets, license plate logs. All evidence of Roberts tightening the noose exactly as planned. Tomorrow he'll escalate, James said softly. And when he does, we'll see the shape of his war. The next dawn brought confirmation. Trucks rolled into the Storm Riders' compound, not gang vehicles, commercial vans loaded with high-tech equipment. Martinez's voice came over the encrypted channel. They're installing surveillance gear across Eagle's Rest, military grade. James studied the pattern. He's building an urban control grid, he said. Deliberate blind spots, channels for movement, classic field doctrine. The town changed by the hour. New security guards in uniform patrolled stores and gas stations. The locals accepted it as federal safety measures. Ruth remarked, seems a lot of security for a little town. Just keeping everyone safe, James replied mildly, letting his worry show for the cameras hidden nearby. Mid-morning, Catherine Wells appeared at his stall. Mr. Cooper, your farm's operations raise regulatory concerns. I keep all my paperwork in order, ma'am, he said with shaking hands. Yes, perhaps too perfect, she replied with a faint smile. She held up documents showing small financial inconsistencies. Loans from banks connected to offshore accounts. Equipment expenses beyond normal farming. Equipment's expensive, James said weakly, just trying to keep up. Then you won't mind a full audit, she said, her eyes cool and knowing. By afternoon, his accounts were frozen, suppliers reconsidering contracts, and inspectors crawling over his farm. Roberts's operation was tightening around him, strangling him financially while building the illusion of legality. They're isolating you, Martinez warned. That's the point, James said. He thinks he's cornering a desperate man, but he's walking into position. At sunset, a cargo truck rolled into the compound, its hull heavily shielded. James's sensors picked up faint radiation signatures. Weapons grade, he whispered. He's moving experimental systems. That's his real play. By morning, Wells had a team of forensic accountants at Town Hall. They're mapping business links, Martinez reported. Every path leads to you. Perfect, James answered. Let them build the narrative. The decrypted chatter told the bigger story. Roberts was turning the Storm Riders into cover for a privatized military network. Shipping manifests matched cartel routes. Prototype weapons were being distributed through training facilities. He's not just smuggling, Martinez said. He's building an army. That afternoon, Wells returned to the market, calm and confident. These orders, she said, handing him a folder, match patterns of weapons conversion. Care to explain? James let fear flicker across his face. I'm just a farmer. Of course, she replied coolly. We'll be in touch. That night, Roberts's compound buzzed with activity. More transports, encrypted comms, tactical drills. He's accelerating, James said, eyes fixed on his monitors. He thinks he's closing in. At midnight, his decryption tools cracked the first layer of transmissions, manifest data, schedules, and something else. Training protocols. He's building command infrastructure, James realized. A private military system hidden in plain sight. Next morning, Wells arrived at his farm with a federal audit team. Routine agricultural inspection, she said, while her men photographed every inch. Interesting irrigation setup, she noted. Power draw far above standard. Reinforced barns, too, for grain? James played nervous. Had to upgrade. Modern farming's complicated. Through hidden feeds, James saw Roberts watching the inspection from his compound. The general's men moved like soldiers on alert. He's using wells as cover, Martinez reported. Underneath, he's positioning strike teams. By afternoon, the farm was officially under investigation. Wells handed him papers. Temporary suspension of operations, pending inquiry. James took them with shaking hands. "You're making a mistake." "We'll see," she replied, turning away. Back in his command center, James traced satellite imagery. Every inspection mirrored a tactical deployment. "He's converting the town into a live test site," James told Martinez. "Population control structure, command hubs, logistics." Why Eagles Rest? Because it's isolated, contained, and because I'm here. Night deepened. Encrypted chatter confirmed Roberts's next move, simultaneous upgrades at other compounds. "They're identical," Martinez said, "self-sufficient military cells." "He's building independent combat units," James said grimly. "He's days away from showing them off." Dawn. More trucks. More soldiers in civilian uniforms. "New arrivals," Jenny reported from the cafe. "Military bearing, pretending to be security techs." "Stay observant," James said. "He's preparing his demonstration." By noon, every access road had checkpoints. Roberts's men wore private security badges, their discipline unmistakable. "They're locking down the town," Martinez said. "He's about to reveal his product," James replied. "Control without war." That evening, his decryption team broke the final layer. The data confirmed everything. Roberts's forces were staging a live demonstration for foreign buyers. Nations plagued by unrest were sending observers under diplomatic cover. "Eagles Rest will be proof of concept," James said. "A town taken without a shot fired. And we'll record every second," Martinez replied. As night fell, James looked out over the quiet valley. Patrol lights traced neat lines through the darkness. "He's going to show them how to control civilians," he murmured, "and I'm going to show the world what that looks like." The next morning, black SUVs rolled through town carrying military attachés from 3 countries. "Observers have landed," Martinez confirmed. Wells returned with federal marshals. "Mr. Cooper," she said, almost kindly, "your property is now under federal seizure." Teams moved with flawless coordination, establishing a perimeter that doubled as a military cordon. Roberts's command center buzzed with activity, projecting efficiency and control. "He's using my farm as the stage," James told Martinez. "Every move rehearsed to impress his clients." "And we're watching every signal," Martinez replied. By noon, the town was effectively occupied. Roadblocks, drones, patrols. Onlookers were told it was a joint anti-crime initiative. Roberts had turned civilian life into theater. "Phase 1 complete," Martinez said. "They control the area without firing a shot." "Phase 2 is population compliance," James answered. "Watch what happens when he tightens the rules." That afternoon, Wells announced expanded security measures. Local officials were replaced by federal liaisons. The crowd applauded, unaware they were watching their autonomy vanish. "He's selling Tayani as safety," James said quietly. Als der Sonnenuntergang sich über die Berge ergoss, sah Eagles Rest nicht mehr wie eine Stadt aus. Es war eine kontrollierte Zone. Drohnen zogen stetige Bahnen über den Dächern, Sicherheitsteams liefen perfekte Patrouillenraster ab. Von außen ähnelte es Sicherheit, von innen war es stille Angst. Roberts stand in seinem mobilen Kommandoanhänger im Gelände der Storm Riders, umgeben von internationalen Delegierten. "Beobachten Sie", sagte er stolz. "Keine Soldaten, keine Gewalt, Kontrolle durch Struktur und Befolgung." Monitore zeigten Live-Übertragungen von jeder Straße, jeder Haushaltsbewegung. Seine Kunden schauten fasziniert zu. Von seinem Farmhauskeller aus schaute James ebenfalls zu, durch versteckte Kanäle, von deren Existenz der General nichts wusste. Jedes verschlüsselte Signal, jeder interne Befehl spiegelte sich auf seinen eigenen Bildschirmen wider. Er zeigt ihnen, wie man ein Land übernimmt, ohne einen Schuss abzufeuern, murmelte er. Jenny flüsterte durch die Kommunikation, sie bewegen sich ins Café, Beobachter, Sicherheit, jeder schaut zu. »Bleib ruhig«, sagte James, »heute Nacht ist es soweit.« Roberts Stimme hallte über die städtischen Lautsprecher, die als Notfallwarnungen getarnt waren. Bundesstaatliche Eindämmungsverfahren bleiben in Kraft. Kooperieren Sie zu Ihrer Sicherheit. Es war eine perfekte Vorstellung. Er glaubte, die Illusion der Kontrolle sei vollständig. Aber James hatte sich jahrelang darauf vorbereitet. Seine Überwachungssysteme waren nicht nur zum Beobachten da, sie konnten senden. Um 20 Uhr, während Roberts seine formelle Vorführung für die Würdenträger begann, legte James einen Schalter um. Über jeden Bildschirm, jedes Telefon, jede lokale Sendefrequenz ersetzte eine neue Übertragung, Roberts Signal, Live-Material seiner Privatarmee, der ausländischen Käufer und Dokumentation, die seine Operation mit Schwarzmarkt-Waffennetzwerken verband. Im Kommandoanhänger brach Chaos aus. »Wer hat diese Übertragung autorisiert?« bellte Roberts. Techniker liefen durcheinander. Jeder Versuch, die Übertragung zu unterbrechen, scheiterte. James' verschlüsseltes System leitete automatisch um und vervielfältigte Kopien über Kanäle weltweit. Aus dem Café zitterte Jennys Stimme. »Jeder schaut zu, James, es wird überall gestreamt. Die Nachrichten, online, sogar die Heimatregierungen der Delegierten.« »Gut«, sagte er leise, »Wahrheit reißt schneller als Macht.« Roberts schlug mit der Faust auf die Konsole. »Verfolgt es, sofort!« »Sir, es springt durch Ihre eigenen Relaistürme.« Draußen erhoben sich Gemurmel, als Bewohner sich auf den Straßen versammelten und die Wahrheit auf riesigen Sicherheitsmonitoren sahen. Die Sicherheitsoperation war als das entlarvt, was sie war, ein privater militärischer Putsch im Miniaturformat. Martinez' Stimme kam durch den sicheren Kanal. »Das FBI hat das Signal, jede Behörde bekommt es live. Du hast es geschafft.« »Noch nicht«, sagte James. »Er ist jetzt verzweifelt. Er wird selbst hierher kommen.« Und das tat er. Innerhalb von Minuten rasten gepanzerte SUVs die Straße zur Farm hinunter. Roberts stieg als erster aus, flankiert von Elitewachen. »Du glaubst, du hast gewonnen«, schrie er zur Veranda hin. »Du hast dich gerade selbst zerstört.« James trat in den Hof, ruhig und unbewaffnet. »Vielleicht, aber ich habe dafür gesorgt, dass die Welt weiß, wer du bist.« Die Soldaten rückten vor, Waffen erhoben, und dann heulten Sirenen. Dutzende föderale Fahrzeuge überfluteten das Tal. Lichter schnitten durch die Dunkelheit. Martinez' Stimme dröhnte aus Lautsprechern. »General Roberts, geben Sie auf. Sie sind verhaftet wegen Hochverrats, Waffenhandels und illegaler paramilitärischer Aktivitäten.« Für einen langen Moment bewegte sich Roberts nicht. Dann legte sich das Gewicht der Realität über ihn. Er drehte sich langsam um und sah seine internationalen Kunden zu ihren Konvois zurückweichen, ihre Gesichter bleich. Sein Imperium war in einer einzigen Übertragung zusammengebrochen. Er wandte sich James ein letztes Mal zu. »Du hättest dich mir anschließen können. Wir sind die Gleichen.« »Nein«, sagte James, »ich habe Kriege geführt, um Menschen zu schützen. Du hast einen aufgebaut, um sie zu besitzen.« Agenten schwärmten über das Gelände. Roberts wurde schweigend abgeführt. Seine Männer ergaben sich, ihre Ausrüstung entledigt, die bis zum Morgen zu Beweismaterial in jedem Nachrichtennetzwerk werden würde. Bei Tagesanbruch kehrte Eagles Rest zu etwas wie Frieden zurück. Patrouillen verschwanden, Drohnen lagen am Boden, Menschen kamen vorsichtig heraus und flüsterten Dank an den Farmer, der irgendwie eine Armee zu Fall gebracht hatte. Jenny fand James dabei, wie er seinen Gemüsestand reparierte. Die einfache Routine erdete ihn. »Es ist vorbei«, sagte sie leise. »Vorerst«, antwortete er, »es wird andere wie ihn geben. Dann werden Sie jemanden haben, der zuschaut.« Martinez kam mit der offiziellen Version. »Wir klassifizieren alles. Für die Öffentlichkeit bist du nur ein lokaler Held, der Korruption aufgedeckt hat.« »Das ist in Ordnung«, sagte James. Farmer mögen Aufmerksamkeit ungefähr so sehr wie Soldaten. Er blickte über den Markt. Ruth stellte ihre Blumen auf, Nachbarn begrüßten einander, als erwachten sie aus einem langen Albtraum. Die Illusion der Normalität war zurückgekehrt, aber James wusste es besser. Der Kampf ging nie nur um einen Mann oder eine Stadt. Es ging darum, wie leicht Menschen Freiheit für das Versprechen von Sicherheit aufgaben. Jenny schaute ihn an. »Was passiert jetzt also?« James lächelte schwach. »Jetzt verkaufe ich Tomaten.« Als sie wegging, summte sein sicheres Telefon einmal, eine kodierte Nachricht von einem unbekannten Kanal, neue Aktivität, anderes Netzwerk. Er löschte sie ohne ein Wort und ordnete weiter Gemüse an, jede Bewegung ruhig und überlegt. Eine Brise wehte über den Markt und trug den Geruch von Erde und Morgenkaffee. Irgendwo in der Ferne hallten leise Motorradmotoren nach und verklangen in Stille. James Cooper richtete sich auf, die Augen den Horizont absuchend. Alte Gewohnheiten starben schwer.